Hey, welcome back to the bench. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining the channel. Today on the bench I got something a little different. Some car stereo action. This is a Blaupunkt Dallas SQM88. This is a stock mount AM/FM stereo receiver. It has inputs for CD, and it's actually a nice unit because it has AM stereo, the SQM decoder in it, and it picks up AM stereo. I don't think it's a thing of the past now, but it's a nice unit. It's got some problems though. Let's turn it on and test it out. So, turning the key on. Okay, let's turn this thing on. Oh, it is working. Let's turn the volume down. It took a while for the electric antenna to come up, so let's just do a scan. It seems to be working. Picking up all the stations.
Don't want to be flooded with this, right?
So you're probably wondering what's the video about if okay, AM FM. Let's try AM. There's AM. It's working too. So you're probably saying, what's the video about if it's working, Trevor? Well, the problem with this is it has a bad connection or a broken wire or something in the power unit, because you'd be driving along and all of a sudden it would just shut off, almost like it's lost power, and it shuts itself off, right? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the power unit. This is the stock. This actually comes out. It's removable. It's a very nice design, and you can put this in your glove box so you don't get theft if you're really worried about it. But if you're not, you can just leave it on the stock. But I really like this design. The glare is not the greatest. Power antenna still works.
Some are more, some are less, and literally.
So I just want to pull out the main amplifier, the tuner, receiver end of this, and give it a going over. Make sure it doesn't need anything. Check for cracked solders. Check for broken connections. Check for dead caps. I don't know if I can give it alignment if it's necessary. This thing is probably pushing 40, 50 years old. And it doesn't sound good either. Like, that could be speakers. Some distortion in the speakers. Doesn't sound too great. Turn the treble down. Turn up the bass. Yeah, there's distortion there for sure.
Only in City Ford, get employee pricing and over 500 new and used vehicles. Save up to $20,000.
Oh, missed one station there. Okay, can't pick that one up. So maybe it does need an alignment. It sounds very distorted. Okay, so I'm going to have to pull it out. It's in behind the dash here. So I have to remove quite a few things. I think I have to remove the center console to get at it and get the main unit out. So let me get started on that. Okay, so if I look down inside, you can see it there. It's main unit sitting there on the hump of the transmission hump in the center console. I have to remove the center console to get it out. And I believe it's all just plug connectors, except for maybe the power and ground. But and get busy and get that out. Okay, I'm in, but it looks like quite the rat nest of wires. Most of these wires are not even used. For example, a lot of these are cut. I think they were run as extra speaker wires, and they're not being used right now. And for the most part, it's just a matter of disconnecting some things here. Antenna. Here's our stock connection. And then I have our 4 speakers here. And this is our power down here. So I can pull this out and then we'll get this on the bench. Looks like, well, I can remember from the video, left on the left, or white on the left, black on the right. Okay, so we're all disconnected. Just a matter of unbolting it and getting in the house. Alright, back on the bench. I'll have a look at it here. So I just brought it out. I brought this stock as well just to have a look at. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these before. This is the control unit. It's very nice. It has an optional beep on or off switch, and then our multi-pin connector for the dock. And everything is digital controlled, up, down, station presets. This button here down here is for a clock. I believe it has a clock. AM stereo button. I remember using this when I first installed this stereo in my vehicle. I remember using the AM stereo feature on that back when we had a station, and it actually worked really well. I was quite impressed with the fidelity and the clarity of the music that was coming across on an AM station. Night and day difference between just regular AM broadcast, and then you press that button and it brought in stereo, and you had your separation, you had your fidelity. Even the noise went down, it seemed like, and it was quite a thing. I don't know why they didn't stick with it. I guess the market wasn't there for it. But so here's our main unit. 4 channels of 20 watts power. That's why they branded 80 watt tuner amplifier. They just could have called it a receiver. Here's DNR is a registered trademark of National Semiconductor. DNR, I wonder what DNR is. ARI? Not sure. But this is it in a nutshell. Okay, here's our back panel. So we have an antenna input, and this is our stock remote. External. I wonder if this switch, I don't know exactly, but I think the switch either turns the internal amplifiers on or off. We have our 4 outputs for our speakers here, and then we have inputs and outputs. SRC1 and SRC2, I don't know what those are. And then we have an input. It says you can connect a CD player to it, and then our output probably to another amplifier. Down here we have ground on this lug, and our B plus on the one inside, and then we have A plus switched. So I think this is our antenna power, the A plus, and then our switched is a remote switch for if you have to turn on an external power amplifier. So it's nicely optioned out. Heat sinking all on this side. Probably just has a bunch of audio amplifier chips. So really don't have a fault to troubleshoot, but I'm just going to open it up and do some exploratory surgery, more or less. And we're going to let me set this up. So we have. Open it up and have a nose around inside just to see if there's anything we can find. What it does is you'll be listening to music, you hit a bump or something on the road, and it shuts off. And I think it loses power, so it might be. Can't get. What is this? A trick or something? What's going on here? There we go. Yeah. Let's get the other side off. Sorry for bumping the camera. All right. There's a lot going on here. And I can see, I think I did come in here once before, many years ago, and did some resoldering on some of these chips. But we might have other problems, so we're going to have to give this a good going over. I think I want to remove this side. I think I want to remove this side, but that involves a lot of, well, yeah. So I don't know if you can see this, but here we have positive and negative wires coming in and feeding these two bus bars, or these two lines, and this feeds power to each chip. And these are our 4 power amplifier chips, and supported circuitry with each one. They probably have a few caps. And then all of our lines for going out. This is our speaker output lines that head out the back. You can unplug it here. And we can have a peek inside. I think I'm going to remove this side, and just bear with me. We can do this. And that can stay. No, it can't. We'll take that off. My goal is to get into the portion where the power comes in, and it's all on here. There's a big inductor, the power comes in, big inductor, and then there should be a big cap. I want to get in there so I can inspect some of this stuff and maybe even check capacitors too. I have a feeling we probably got dead caps in this thing. Considering its age, I don't know when they built this. Doesn't seem to be any date codes or anything on it. So that's all that. Let's take these two out. Now I've already got problems here. This ground is broken off. This ground is broken off. And I think this one's holding. So we might have to just heat this one up. Look at this. They roll their own chips. But it's got a D1714G number. That's an NEC part number, I think. That's a standard tuner in a chip, you know, phase lock loop, digital tuning. I think that's what that is. Somehow they got a Blaupunkt on there. So let's see if we can get this thing off. We need to desolder this. Let me try this. Now, did that work? No. Hit it again. That might have worked. Okay. Now, can we separate this? We can separate the two, but we need to unsolder these wires here. So let's do that. Gotta remember this red one here is on the bottom. It's a power feed for the amplifiers. Pull that through. And then we have 1, 2, 3 connectors there, and 1 connector here. And they're all keyed so that we can't mix them up. Okay, I already see a problem here. And it's not going to be very obvious to you guys. Where's my magnifier? Power comes in, these two spade, and they go through these 2 wires, and then it goes to this large choke. Red wire goes to this large choke, and then it goes through, and it feeds through here. Where I'm seeing a problem is on this relay. This relay is completely cracked on this pin here. Completely cracked on this pin here, but it's not connected to anything. Yeah, so we got cracked pins on this relay. We got a choke, filter, relay, and that's basically it for the power. A little bit of logic here. The rest of this that looks good. I'm going to check these boards. Those look good. And that looks good. So let me resolder this. This might have been the fault here, is with this relay. This connection right here was cracked. And this one too, but that's a dead. There should be another pin somewhere on this relay. Here it is. That one was cracked. Okay. Let's reflow this inductor. And that should be good for that. What else do we got here? We got pins on this remote. There's cracks there. Oh yeah, there's cracks, lots of cracks. So what I'm looking at is the pins for this DIN connector here flows through onto the board, and they're all cracked. And if I look on these other DIN connectors, they're probably the same, but they've never seen anything plugged into them, so maybe they're not cracked. So let's reflow these. See if we can fix some of this up. The problem with car stereos is they see vibration and they see heat cycling. Let's see, what else do we have here? We got three more. All right. I think we caught it. Speaker connectors. That's okay, that's all here. Okay. I think we solved the mystery. Let's look at this thing. So what we got here is we got 4 amplifiers. What chip do they use? A Toshiba TA 7280P audio amplifier chip. Mashishita caps. I don't see any of them leaking, but I am going to pull some of these and check them. Let's do that. Because if we can change them while we're in here, we can do that as well. And the board is marked with positive. You can see that little positive there. It's like a little dot. Very, very small. Okay, this is 1000 at 16 volts. It's reading down. Yeah, this is reading down. It's got 860 microfarads, 150 milliohms ESR. Pretty weak. Let's do this one. I fully expect the Mashishita caps to be dead. This one's 850, 847, 140 milliohms ESR. These two caps aren't very good. So for comparison, this is a brand new cap. It's 927 microfarad, 113 milliohms, so a little better. Not quite there yet, but we're looking at something else like this. This is a solid polymer. And we have 985 microfarad, 48 milliohms ESR. So I'll probably install 2 of these. I'm going to go through and check all these caps because they're all Mashishita and they could be dead. Kind of interesting. This is all amplifier, power amplifier here. This is all input. These are our inputs, or what are these? Our input and output. And then they have a couple of, looks like, little line amplifiers here. This LC7537 And then we have a large switch here. An LM1894, and I'm not sure what that chip does. LM1894. I'm going to go look that up. Okay, so the LM1894 is our dynamic noise reduction from National Semiconductor. Now, I don't know why it says Texas Instruments. LM1894 is a stereo noise reduction circuit for use with audio playback systems. The DNR system is non-complementary, meaning it does not require an encoded source material. The system is compatible with virtually all pre-recorded tapes and FM broadcasts. The psychoacoustic masking and an adaptive bandwidth scheme allow for the DNR to achieve 10 dBs of noise reduction. DNR can save circuit board space and cost because of the few additional components required. So I kind of remember this. This is it kind of masks the background noise as the music loudness changes. The louder the music, it allows the music to come through. You hear it all, but as during the quiet passages, it suppresses the high frequency hiss. And I think it works actually not too bad. And they installed it on here, and I think it is, yeah. And you can turn it on and off. So here's a DNR button there. So you would turn that on and off, and you can tell the difference when you listen to it. Works good on FM, and like I said, cassettes too. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to recap all the power amplifiers, get all these old caps out, and then I'll evaluate the rest of this stuff here. We got, I don't think I need to change all these caps. I'll just go through the power amplifier first. Here I'll probably change the few power capacitors, and I'll leave the rest of the tuner alone. I don't think the tuner needs service. I think it was working fine. Like I could spot check a few of these caps, but I highly doubt. What brand are they? They're all Mashashita caps. The miniature ones. Is there a date code on this? 86. Yeah, I'm getting 1986 out of this. 1987. Alright, so I'll get started on this. I'll bring you back in. So I just removed the heatsink just to get it out of the way because there's 4 screws. It's easy to take off. I pulled it off. There's no compound. There's no insulators. Yeah, so I'm going to have to check these data sheets on these chips. Are these grounded? These tabs must be grounded then. I just want to get this bracket out of the way because it is in the way. So I can just desolder that and remove that bracket. But I'm going to check this out because it needs to be properly heat sinked. Okay, so I had a little confusing moment here. I was trying to figure out the pin out of these chips, and it didn't make sense to me. I was counting pin numbers from number 1, what I thought was number 1. I was trying to figure out what these caps were, what their duty was. And as it turns out, you got 2 different chips here. I don't know if you can see this. If you look at one on the left there, it says TA7281, and then that one says TA7280. Why the difference? Well, they're both the same chip, and the data sheet explains this. TA7280 and reverse TA7281 for easier layout of PC. So the same chip, it just has a reversed pinout on one of these. So there's really no advantage. I don't know why they did it, but if you look at the circuit, you can see one side's a mirror image of the other, and we got like a ground. The ground goes up to this pin, and ground goes up to this pin, so they're like opposite. And they're just like mirror images. So don't get bit by that. If you're trying to replace one of these chips and you assume they're all the same, you're gonna find out quickly that they're not. Now I did do ohm check from the back heatsink tab to ground, and it seems isolated. So I'm gonna leave it that, and I'm just gonna make sure I got heatsink compound on these chips. Let's have a look at this. TA7280, TA7281. It's a 5.8 watt dual audio power amplifier. So it's a stereo chip, but you can put it in bridge mode and you get 22 watts if you use the one chip as a bridge configuration. So exactly what they're doing here, they got this in a bridge configuration. So each chip has 2 amplifiers, so there's 8 amplifiers total. Here's some power output, 22 watts typical. That's at 14.4 volts VCC and a 4 ohm load. Okay, you're not going to get 22 watts into 8 ohm speakers. You're going to get half that if you're lucky. Low distortion, 0.03% typical. THD 0.06% typical. What the difference is here. I guess one is at 4 watts, one's at 1 watt. Well, they got higher gain on this one here. This one's bridged, this one's dual, so I don't understand. You think if you had it in bridge mode, you get twice the distortion because you're having 2 amplifiers pushing against each other, and the distortion would add up. So that doesn't make sense to me. Low noise, 0.14 millivolt RMS typical. And then here's the noise figures. Protector circuit, thermal shout down. It's going to shout you down. Thermal shout down, over voltage protection, output to VCC short, output to ground short, and out to output short protection. Okay, so it's pretty much bulletproof. You have a hard time blowing up one of these chips, I think. Supply range 9 to 18 volts. And then here's a typical configuration. This is in stereo mode. We got 2 loads. And then here we have it in bridge configuration where you have 1 load and both amplifiers are working in bridge mode. So I'm going to get these caps in now. Still trying to figure out what some of these other caps do. That's why I had the data sheet out. The power supply caps are replaced, and I'll bring you back when there's more to talk about. Alright, so there are the main power amplifiers are recapped. Now, I didn't want to turn this into a recapping marathon, but it looks like I might just have to. So these ones I pulled out, for the most part, you could still run with them. They're all Masashita caps. They're all down in value and they're high in ESR now because they're 40 years old. I think these caps are from 1987. Looking at some of these date codes here, it's like 1987. And that almost puts it at almost 40 years old. But then I'm looking at these ones here, and these ones are 10 microfarad at 16 volts. Let's pull one out, just a random one, and we'll test it. Let's see here, where are we? I got the wrong one. No, I got the right one. Okay, so these are black Masashita caps. 10 at 16 volts. I don't think I've ever seen the black ones. They must be the miniature. Usually they're in blue or navy blue or purple. So this one here is going to measure 8.9 microfarads. And it's about 14 ohms ESR, which is not great. Luckily, I just bought caps. These are Elna caps, 10 at 16 volt. Let's measure one of these in comparison. Very nice Elna cap. 16 volt, 10 microfarad. And you can see that. And they have a 2021 date code. Relatively fresh still. So let's try this out. And I got a 9.6, 5.8 ohms ESR. So the ESR is more than double better. And we are on are capacitance. So I think I'm gonna replace these ones as well, because I don't know exactly which circuits I'm using here for which, because they have inputs. I think I'm just going to recap all this, and probably parts of this and the dynamic noise reduction, I might do that as well. Might as well go all out if I have it apart and I'm doing this. Might as well just do it once and for all. I have to take this switch and clean it, make sure it's not oxidized, and then this can all go back together. Alright, I'm done with all the work. I just need to do some cleaning up and inspection, because these two boards are very busy and there's a lot going on. And you got to make sure you don't have any solder bridges or crack joints. So I'm just going to clean this up and then give it a good inspection. Now I did replace quite a few caps on the other board, not so much in this one. This one has all the tuners on it and the microprocessor control. The other one has the amplifiers, has the tone controls, and input switching. For example, this chip here, it's an LC7537, and this one chip handles all of the volume control, tone controls, balance control, fader control, and it's all done in one. It's all done digitally in this chip. It's kind of an interesting chip if you pull the data sheet and read up on it. These are 5218s. These are just like op amp amplifiers, and these are 5218s as well, but they're in a inline package. These are all just amp chips for the line in and out. And like I mentioned before, this chip here is our DNR, dynamic noise reduction. Other things worth noting: this chip here, this Motorola, it's a 13020. That's the SQM chip. That's the AM stereo chip. It's AM stereo decoder. So that's in there, and then what else do we have here? LA, a bunch of LA chips. It's quite the receiver for sure. There's a lot going on in here, and it's really well built. But like I said, these boards are very busy, and there's a lot of close contact connections. Anyway, so I'm going to clean this up and give it a good inspection, then we'll put it back together. Alright, starting to put things back together. I don't know if you guys want to watch me do this or not. I'll put it in here anyway. So, how did it come apart? I think this piece goes here. No, turn it around maybe. Better, just like that. And these were bent to hold. Wrong way. This gets bent, and does this one, and we can solder those two. And lots of heat. That should be good. Now, our heat sink. Let's give it a dab on each. Alright, so this goes like that. So this must be like this. I'm assuming. Where's the holes? I can see. Oh, I'm not lined up. Okay, there we go. To line it up a little better. Can't get my fingers in there. Okay. Once you get the first one started, everything else goes easier. Come on. I'll just leave them loose for now, because if it needs to slide around in one direction or the other, and then it's not binding up. As long as I don't forget to tighten them down after I'm done. Okay. All my plug connectors are connected, except for the speaker output. So we can put this together. I'll put the side screws in for the heat sink. Put these side screws in. Okay, good. All right. And I screwed up again. This has to go under that tab. So, take one more. This is the fun of putting it together, is learning how it came apart. There we go. All right. Now I can put some screws in the back. I think I will. Can't really remember where they all went. That's a plastic screw. Where do I get a plastic screw? Right there, in there. Okay, plastic screws. There's one right here. Another plastic screw right here. Okay, I need a metal screw here. And one more. Alright, I think no screws on this board, but there was one here. I think it was this one. I'm not sure. Alright, tighten these all down. Okay, and I can tighten these as well. And then I can put the remainder of the side screws back in. Alright. Now I think I know what the problem I was experiencing is from. These grounds are broken. This one's broken. This one's broken. And this one was broken. Also we had some, no, none here. I resoldered those. I need to resolder these two. Okay, so let's do these ones first. I think this is the part of the problem. These grounds broke and I was losing a ground connection on the circuits. So let's flood this with heat and some new fresh solder and get these to stick. Let them get good and hot. Okay, this one here. Right, and then this one here. Lift that wire out of the way. This really sucks the heat. Okay, just gonna wait. I think I got it. And these two. I'm gonna do these two as well. They do crack, but I don't know if these ones make any difference because they just hold down the DIN connector. Okay. All right. I think we're done. So I'm going to power this thing up. I think I can well, this is all my speaker output lines here. There's 8 of them, just fine. I can tack wires on, or I can tack wires on here. Doesn't really matter. And then I can break out the. What I might do is just remove these wires from here. I'll just take a picture of that, where they go, and then I'll remove that from this connector, and then I can plug that in, and I can just use these lines as pigtails, and then I can feed it some power, and then feed it an antenna, and then we'll give it a test. All right, got everything wired in. I got the bench speakers connected. Let's put an antenna on this. I hope that stays. Now we have a power. Okay. I'm going to feed it 13 volts. Let's all right. So power jumped up a little bit, and then I went down to 0 consumption. So we should be live, and if I turn the power on, we got nothing. Oh, you know what? I think it helps if you plug the remote in. There we go. Now we can turn it on. Still nothing. Do have power. Let me check here, because I might need to feed it a power on signal. Let's see here. Let's measure from ground. That's 0. And that's 0. Now if I measure from here, that's 12.9, 12.8. I think I need to jumper one of these 2 pins to B+. Hopefully without blowing it up. Let me do it through a resistor. Get a 100 ohm resistor. Let's do this from positive. There we go. Alright, we got it. So that is it, that A+. So I can just connect this directly to A+. It should turn on. There we go. So let's do some tuning. Scan. I don't think we have any antenna connection. It is making connection. $880 is station. Okay, so our FM should work as well. We're not getting good FM here. ARI, what's ARI? Don't know what ARI is.
X1079.
It's about as bad as I'll be home.
Can't play it because it's all copyright. Now it's coming in FM.
There ain't a whole lot going on.
Needs a good antenna. Okay, this clock.
I've always loved you. I never thought about you. You've always been in my heart. And I got up the phone slapping my face thinking, did I just dream that? And so we went out for
Yeah,
coffee,
it's working.
and,
So I'm gonna put it back together. Actually, I'm gonna test the other two channels because I do have fader control. Let's try that out.
You weren't ready to be together when you were younger, all those years. You had to...
So that's for the front.
lessons to learn, growing up to do.
The rear fades it out. Rear's not connected. Okay.
Because we've discussed that multitudes of times. Like,
Balance left and right.
what else? That it all comes
That's
down
left right now.
to but we wouldn't have the children in child.
Right. Working as it should.
Yeah.
Bass and treble. This is treble.
Sometimes if you are meant to be, no matter what happens in your life or how many times you have this, you momentary back together.
That's
sometimes
treble
it
cut.
was really meant to be blood finds the way.
Bass boost. Okay. It is all working. Excellent. Okay. It's working good. I'm happy. Draws at idle, it's drawing about 780 milliamps on 13 volts, which is very normal. And I haven't tried out the other speakers yet. I could connect them up and try them. I think I will before I wrap this up. And what more to say about this? It's just an AM/FM stereo receiver. Some of you might be wondering what's inside this thing. Well, probably not much. Let's have a look. If you're interested in looking, we can open it up. It's probably just some push switches. It's membrane, I think, isn't it? Push switches, some lamps, an LCD display. Probably nothing exciting in here. How do we get into it? We might need some persuasion. Let's see what we got here. I don't want to muck it up, that's the thing. There we go. Very careful. So what do we got? We got a little board here that interfaces with the connector. That is the connector there, 8 pins. And then our switch for our beeper, and here's our beeper element. You turn that switch on or off. And then here we have 3 lamps, LCD display, and a display driver here. And it looks like it's just getting serial data. Not much to it. Let's have a look here. Some of these solders are cracked. So I might resolder this keypad. Might be a good idea. Let's do that right now. Well, I got it open. Just give it the quick, turn this around this way. Might explain why some of the buttons are not as responsive, or they're difficult. You got to push them hard. Okay. I guess they're using mechanical push button switches instead of a membrane. Well, this should clear up a lot of that. I was looking for a service manual for this and I couldn't find one. You type in Blaupunkt Dallas and it comes up with a different model, a newer model. They must have reused the Dallas name on a more recent. It was an in-dash unit and it had the mini disc player. That button cracked when I heated it. It has I don't know if it's a CD, but it had the mini disc player. And it was called Dallas. So I guess they recycled the name. All right. Everything looks good here. I'll just put this back together and okay, I'll close this up and then I'll put it back in the car. All right, we're back in. Actually, it went back in easier than it was to take it out, so that's a bonus. Let's turn it on.
Troubleshooting.com with the disembodied voice of Paul Wodarchuk, stored safely in a
Seems like it's working now.
What did that go?
All the stations are coming.
Your phone was broken, just forgot to check.
And even if they're racist, they're not going to tell you so.
Yeah, very
Where's
nice.
Vincent? Vincent?
CIAR, a message from the Government of Canada.
Yep.
You know what makes green fox?
Okay, let's good. Now I can drive with music instead of being in silence all the time. All right, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.